Once again, welcoming you all to physics class by Mr. Jyot Kumar. I hope everyone have attempted the exam very well. Of course, few of the members has posted marks to me that they got very high marks when compared to the previous times. And I'm congratulating those who got the really highest marks, and those who got some less marks. No need to bother. Little practice makes you more perfect in the marks, guys. Okay. Now we have completed so far two topics. One is ray optics and one is wave optics. So actually the coming one is, I mean, in general was a photoelectric effect, but I don't think it might be much good because the light is always keeping on sticking with the light is a little bit boring. Is it right? So we are going to enter a new chapter called electricity. So first of all, I'm a little curious about that. Into how many sectors the science is classified? Sir, we are in intermediate and you are asking such a silly question. See, I know about the classification, but whether you know or don't know, I don't know. That's the reason I'm just want to give a small idea. Of course, a brief classification about the subject science. Okay, guys. Now here, in general, the science is classified into mainly two sectors. Science is mainly classified into two sectors. One is living and another one is non-living. Under the living section, we are having okay. Under the living, we are having three categories. One is bio, next one biology, okay, zoology, and botany. Okay, so you already all know about all this, so I'm not explaining. Now coming to non-living, we are having three types. One is physics, next one is chemistry, okay, next one is astronomy, and last one is geology. Okay, so in very short forms, we can call physics is nothing but nature's cause and its effects. Nature's cause and its effects. Okay, and coming to the chemistry, action and reaction of metals, sorry, of chemicals, or in simply history and mystery of chemicals. Okay, so next astronomy, study of space, geology, study of earth. Okay, so this is a simple classification of the science. Now in this, physics is mainly classified into five sectors. One is mechanics, okay, second one is properties of matter, okay, third one is thermodynamics, okay, and next one is electricity and magnetism, and last topic is electricity and modern physics. So these all are the five categories of our physics: mechanics, properties of matter, thermodynamics, electricity and magnetism, modern physics. Sir, you missed one important topic, sir. Optics. We discussed two also. In that, wave is there and ray optics is there. Where are those? So it is a part of properties of matter, guys. It is a part of properties of matter. That's the reason we not need to mention it separate. Okay, so we discussed some properties of mechanics, properties of matter, and thermodynamics in your first year sector, and we are going to start one more special segment here called as electricity and magnetism. Electricity and magnetism is a separate segment, and it's a very interesting segment for the students. Okay guys, so from today onwards we are going to discuss about the electricity and magnetism. But in order to go for the whole, I mean, electricity is a different case and magnetism is a different case. It is having different sub cases, but first of all we will deal with the electricity. Okay, so okay guys, now coming to the point here, electricity is mainly classified into two sectors. Electricity is mainly classified into how many sectors guys? Two sectors. So can anyone know what are those? So here electricity is mainly classified in two sectors, means it is, first one is electrostatics, second one is current electricity. Okay, so here electricity is classified into mainly two sectors. Okay, one is electrostatics. Okay, second one is current electricity. Electrostatics and current electricity. Electrostatics means study of charges. Study of charge. Okay, I'm simply writing charge is in state of rest. Okay, simple notation. Charge is in state of rest. Study of charges which are in the state of rest. And here charge is in state of motion. Current electricity means what? When charges are in the state of motion. If charge is in the state of rest and if we are discussing about that, that is called as electrostatics or simply static electricity. Okay, so if the charge is in motion, it is called as current electricity. Clear guys? So of course in the mainly we are having the two basic things here. I mean, we are dealing here with the electrostatics, mainly two sectors only. Okay, in the whole topic ultimately we are focusing on two topics. One is properties of charges. Okay, and the second one is electric field. Electric field. Okay, of course, the whole two topic, I mean, it is just a classification. I mean, the whole in this whole chapter, electrostatics chapter, we are mainly focusing on only 2 points. Then it's that is properties of charges, and second one is electric field. Okay, guys. So we will discuss first of all properties of charges. Then we will go ahead for the furthermore topics. Okay, guys. So first of all, what do you mean by the word charge? Charge means what? What do you mean by the word charge? Charge is a property of matter that produces and experiences electric and magnetic effects. Okay, so charge is a, so first of all guys, our main topic, charge. What do you mean by the word charge guys? It is a property of matter. It is a property of matter which or that produces and experiences electric and magnetic effects, electrical and magnetic effects. Okay guys, it is a property of matter that produces and experiences electrical and magnetic effects. Okay, so here we are one more simplest definition is there. Okay, what is that? Excess or deficiency of electrons present on an atom is also called charge. Okay, so excess or deficiency of electrons present on an atom is also called as charge. Why we discussed this point here? So first of all, what is this charge? I mean, the technical definition is it is a property of matter, okay, that produces or experiences the electrical and magnetic effects. Okay, so here excess or deficiency of electrons present on an atom is called as charge. Why we discussed another point here? So first of all, how a body will acquire charge, that we will discuss. Okay, guys. Now our question is what, guys? How a body will acquire charge? Our question. So what is our question, guys? How a body will acquire charge? How a body will acquire charge? That is our question, first question. Okay, now we are having, I mean, how a body will acquire charge means, so first of all, the entire universe is made up of small particles called atom. Entire universe is made up of small particles called atom. Now how is this atom made? Atom is made up of electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so here this is the symbol E over I mean this slash and circle, in that it is a electron. Okay, or E negative is an electron. Except hydrogen, all the matter is made up of except hydrogen, because hydrogen contains only one electron and one proton. It does not have the neutrons, but other all will contains all electron, proton as well as neutron. Okay, actually it is plus, and neutron means it is a neutral charge, so it does not have any symbol. Okay, simply it will be represented with the N. Okay, guys. Now coming to the next point here, electron, proton and neutron. Now this positive charge, I mean, how an atom is prepared? Positive charge as well as neutrons, I mean both proton and neutron will acquire like this, together called as what, guys? Nucleus. Okay, proton and electron together called as nucleus, and they are at the center of the atom, and electrons revolving in some particular orbits. Okay, so here what, guys? Here protons and neutrons together will be at the center of the atom, and electrons keep on revolving around the nucleus with high speeds. Okay, this is how an atom is made. And if you clearly observe that electrons were attracted towards the proton very high. Okay, electrons were attracted to the protons. Okay, but they not combine. If they combine, the atom will collapse. Okay, but there is a strong force of attraction due to which they keep on revolving around the them. Okay, now when compared to the size of the electron, mass of the electron, the mass of the proton is very high, at least 2000 times. Okay, I mean accurately it is 1800 times. Okay, okay. Now when compared to the mass of a proton, the mass of the electron is very less. Okay, so how many times less means, how many times the mass of the electron is less means around 1800 times. Okay, so guys, the proton as well as neutron occupy most of the space in an atom, whereas electrons will occupy very small space. Okay, so anyway, guys, this is the main some point here, and what you need to keep in mind: electrons means negative charge. Protons means positive charge. Neutrons means no charge. That only you should keep in mind. Electron means negative. Of course, you already know about this, but no need, but should have a clarity. Okay, now, first of all, I mean, our question, I mean, I hope what are the main basic elements present in the universe. I think you got a clear idea. Okay, now coming to the how body will acquire a charge, that we will discuss mainly. Okay, how a body will acquire charge. Now, first of all, consider sodium atom. Consider which, guys? Sodium atom. Okay, so sodium atoms contain 11 electrons and 11 protons. Upon excitation, so or it loses one electron and gets 10 electrons and 11 protons. If you clearly observe that, guys, when compared to the protons, the number of electrons are less. When number of electrons are less when compared to the number of protons, it will acquire positive charge. When compared to the number of electrons, if number of protons are more, or when compared to the protons, if the electrons is less. Okay, with just always fix with respect to the protons. With respect to protons, if number of electrons is less, then it is called as positive charge. Positive charge. Clear, guys? Okay, so and coming to the next, consider chlorine. Chlorine contains 17 electrons and 17 protons. Upon excitation, it will experiences 18 electrons and 17 protons. When compared to the protons, when compared to the 17 protons, 18 electrons are there. Okay, so here electrons is less in the above case, and here electrons are more. If electrons are more means, then it will acquire negative charge. So charge is, I mean, so I think right now you got a clear idea. So when comparing with the protons, okay, when comparing with the protons, okay, when comparing with the protons, electrons are less, then it is a positive charge. Simply, electrons are more, then it is negative charge. Clear, guys? So this is the main classification. First of all, how a body will acquire charge means, so it is a relative number of electrons in an atom, or simply excess or deficiency of electrons when compared to the proton. Excess or deficiency of electrons when compared to the protons in an atom is called as charge. Okay, so excess number of electrons, negative charge. Excess number of protons or less number of electrons gives rise to positive charge. Clear, guys? This is how a body will acquire charge. I hope you got a clear idea when a body will acquire negative charge and when your body will acquire positive charge. Okay, guys, now coming to the one more point, what is the value of charge on electron? Okay, the charge on electron charge on one electron is very small, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So such a very small value, so I mean, it is practically impossible for the measurement purpose. So that unit of charge is considered as as 1 coulomb. Okay, so 1 coulomb means 1 coulomb is a very bigger unit. Okay, what do you mean by the word here 1 coulomb? Here the 1 coulomb means the number of electrons required in order to get 1 coulomb of charge is called as 1 coulomb of charge. How many electrons we should add or subtract from an body in order to obtain 1 coulomb of charge. Okay, so here we will write here, this process is called as quantization of Q is equal to N into Q. I already said that the charge present on an electron is very small. So we will discuss the total charge on a body in terms of multiples of charge on electron, multiple of charges on electron. So here capital Q is what, guys? Total charge. And N is what? Number of electrons. And Q is charge on electron. Charge on electron. Okay, so the total charge present on a body is nothing but integral multiple of number of electrons. Integral multiple of number of electrons present on a body and its charge. Okay, so this is called as what, guys? Quantization of energy. Quantization of energy. Quantization of charge, sorry. Quantization of charge. What is this quantization of charge? The total charge present on a body is nothing but multiple of charge present on a multiple of charges present on a body. Okay, so this is called as what? Quantization of charge. Q is equal to N. So in 1 coulomb of charge, how many electrons present? In 1 coulomb of charge, how many number of electrons present? That we will discuss now. Okay, so we can write here N is equal to capital Q by small q. That is 1 by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. I am writing this one as, okay, so I can able to write this as 1 by 16 into 10 power minus 20, or we can write it as simply 10 power 20 by 16. So upon simplification, we will get the value here 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. So 1 coulomb of charge contains, 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. 1 coulomb of charge contains how many electrons, guys? 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. Okay, so this is what we called, quantization of charge means what, guys? The total charge present on a body is integral multiple of number of electrons present on a body with its charge. Clear? So here what is the value of N? N is equal to 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. Okay, so this is all about the quantization of charge. Okay, now what are the units? What are the units, guys? It is a coulomb or ampere second. Coulomb, other name of coulomb is what, guys? Other name of coulomb is ampere second. Okay, its dimensional formula is what? A T. Dimensional formula is A T. Okay, so now if you clearly observe that mass is a scalar quantity, and similarly here charge is also a scalar quantity. So first of all, what is the difference between a charge? What is the difference between a scalar and vector? So scalar is a quantity which is having only magnitude, and vector is a quantity which is having both magnitude and a direction. So here, if you clearly observe that whatever the charge, it is a nothing but multiple of electrons. So it's a number, so it does not require any direction. So here charge is a scalar quantity. What, Nana? Charge is a scalar. Okay, so charge on each electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay, 1 coulomb charge contains 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons, and another name of coulomb is ampere second. Dimensional formula is ampere at simply, and charge is a scalar quantity. So these are the points you should remember in your mind. Okay, and what is the CGS units, sir? So the CGS units are amp coulombs. Okay, amp coulombs. Of course, they won't ask here the what's the point, Nana. What's your answer? Amp coulomb is the answer for CGS unit of charge. Okay, okay, guys. I hope you understood. We will move on to the next day. Okay, guys. Hope you understood, and we will have a cross check, and we will go to the further points. Okay. Now this is a yeah. Fine. Okay, so electrostatics, and these are the some properties. Of course, we will discuss those later on. Okay, now coming to the next, we are having electric charge. So the property associated with matter due to which produces experiences electrical and magnetic effects, or simply excess or deficiency of electrons gives rise to the concept. We are having total two types, positive and negative, and SI unit we discussed. So these all are the some main points about the electric charge. Coming to the next, specific properties. So charge is a scalar property, quantity. It represents excess or deficiency, that is simply a number. Next, charge is transferable. If a charged body is kept in contact with another charged body, charge from one body transfers to another body. So charge is always transferable. If a body is having same charge, then charge does not transfers. If a charge is not same 100%, there is a transfer of charge. Charge is associated with the mass. Charge is always, see, this is the main important, very important point, guys. You should think charge is always associated with the mass. So what is the point? Charge can be mass can be present without charge, but charge cannot be present without mass. Once again, I'm telling you, guys. So what's the point here? Mass can exist without charge. Without charge is nothing but what, guys? Body is in state of neutral. Body is in neutral state. Okay, but charge cannot exist without mass. So it is having 1 coulomb of charge and 0 grams of mass. Does not exist. Okay, so 5 grams of mass with 0 coulomb of charge is exist. Are you getting point, guys? 5 gram of mass and 0 grams of 0 coulomb of charge, it will exist. But 5 coulomb of charge and 0 grams of mass does not exist. Okay, so presence of presence of charge itself a convincing proof of existence of mass. Okay, now in charging, mass of a body changes. Okay, so charging means either a body getting positive charge or either a body acquiring charge. Either it might be a positive or negative. If a body undergoes charging, there is a change in its mass. Okay, when a body is given positive charge, positive charge means what? We are taking away electrons. So some number of electrons are decreasing from a body. So if the number of electrons are decreasing, means it is having some mass or not. So its mass decreases. When some electrons were removed from a body, means its mass will decreases. When some negative charge is added to a body, its mass increases. Okay, and quantization just we discussed. Okay, quantization of electric charge is a property by which all free charges are integral multiple of basic unit of charge represented by E. Okay, thus charge of a body is always given by Q is equal to N. Of course, we discussed capital Q is equal to Capital Q is equal to N into small q. Okay, here, okay, no need of confusion, guys. See, in different books follow differently. So here, the logic is very, very simple. Q is charge present on a body. This is what a total charge. Total charge. Q is equal to N into E, where N is equal to number of electrons and E is total charge. Sorry, charge on electron. Charge on electron. Okay, so different books will publish differently. Okay, so I mean Q is equal to Ne. That is what our concept is. Okay, the quantum of charge is the charge that an electron or proton carries. Quantum of charge, I mean here we discussed now 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So that is called as quantum of charge. Quantum of charge. Okay, so these all are the points about the these all are the points regarding what, guys? Our um, specific properties of charge. Okay, now coming to the next point here. Charge is conserved. What do you mean by the word charge is conserved? So in an isolated system, for example, a body of a high number of electrons is there and a body of a less number of electrons is there. Okay, now when they combine, I mean when they touch each other, so here excess is there. Okay, I'm explaining here, guys. Okay, for example, this body is having some 100 electrons. Your body is having some 20 electrons. So 100%, what will happen, guys? Some electrons, I mean, some electrons transfers from here to here. That means the total number of electron in this system, I mean, for example, think that this is an isolated system. This 100 as well as this 20 electrons is isolated. Now the total number of charge presented in an isolated system is conserved. That is, charge is neither created nor destroyed. That is the point. Charge is neither created nor destroyed. So it is transforming from one body to another body. Now here 100 electrons is there and here 20 electrons is there. How many number of electrons it can able to pass means approximately 40. Okay, so by losing the 40 electrons, it will acquire 60 electrons. By gaining 40 electrons, it will acquire 60. Both will be in same negative charge. Okay, so here if you clearly observe that here any external charge is added? No. So whatever the charge present in this surrounding, that is only changed from one body to another. So charge is neither be created and nor be destroyed. Okay, so this is what is called as charges or charges conserved or conservation of charge. Okay, and next, charge is invariant. Charge is invariant. I mean, so we are having two different conditions. I mean, different conditions, guys. Is it right? Um, accelerating frame of reference and regular frame of reference. Is it right? Now, whether it is an accelerating frame of reference or simply inertial frame of reference or non-inertial frame of reference, charge is invariant. Whether it is inertial frame of reference or non-inertial frame of reference, charge value is same. Okay, it does not depend upon the frame of reference, or simply charge is independent of frame of reference. Okay, now accelerate another way. Okay, another point is that accelerated charge radiates energy. See, sir, just now you only said it does not depend on the frame of reference, but once again you are telling, see, if for example, a bus is a small battery is present in a bus and bus is accelerating with a speed. Now tell me that battery is experiencing acceleration? No, it is not. It is actually in the state of rest. For example, guys, here just observe, this is a bus. Okay, in this bus it is having a battery. Now bus is moving with an acceleration of a. Now tell me, this battery is experiencing acceleration? No, battery is in the state of rest only. But the number of electrons, I mean the electrons can move within this battery or not. So here the point you to understand is accelerated charges radiates energy. Of course, we will come to that point later on. Okay, so one more important point is, okay, that how the accelerated charges radiates energy, that we will discuss in later on stage. Okay. Now coming to the point, attraction and repulsion. So the two basic points you already know, that opposite charges attract each other, that is plus minus and minus plus. Opposite charges attract each other, and similar charges repel. Okay, so opposite charges attract each other, whereas similar charges repel each other. These are a well-known point by you. Okay, now coming to the next, yeah. So how a body will acquire charge? How a body will acquire charge, that we will discuss now. A body will acquire charge in three ways. One is conduction. Another one is induction, and third one is friction. Okay, so simply we can say charging by friction, charging by conduction, and charging by induction. Okay guys, now we will discuss one by one each. Okay, so first of all, charging by friction. Okay, so methods of charging. In methods of charging, we are having three ways. Okay, so one is charging by friction. Okay, charging, yeah. Okay, charging by conduction. Okay, and next one is charging by induction. Okay guys, so here if you clearly observe that, okay, I hope right now you. So methods of charging, we are having how many guys? Three types. One is charging by friction, charging by conduction, and charging by induction. Okay, so what do you mean by the word here, charging by friction? When two bodies opposes relative motion one on another, it will give rise to charging by friction. Okay, so first one is what guys? Charging by friction. What is this charging by friction? When one body, so for example, think that this is one body. Okay, we are having another. Okay guys, so in the first point here, methods of charging. In method of charging, first one is charging by friction. So in charging by friction, when one body opposes relative motion on another body, it will give rise to the charge. Sir, why one body when opposes relative motion on another body will give rise to charge? What is happening there? So if you clearly observe that these two, for example, consider Okay, so this is a glass rod, okay, upon which a silk cloth is there. So this is what glass and this is what silk. When glass rod is rubbed with the silk, when glass rod is rubbed with silk, the number of electrons, I mean, so it contains equal number of electrons and protons. Here also it contains equal number of electrons and protons, but electron affinity of silk is more. Electron affinity of silk is more. Okay, electron affinity of silk is more, hence the number of electrons start moving from the glass to silk. Okay, glass rod to silk. Sir, why these electrons are moving? Means, for example, if you clearly observe that, of course, the surfaces appear to be smooth, but when you look under the microscopic level, the surfaces may be like this. Okay. So here, if you clearly observe that when you rub this surface and this surface, this is the surface one, okay, and this is a surface two. Now, when this is called as a interlocking. This is called as a interlocking. These two will get crush each other. These two will get crush here. Okay, you can see how our fingers, I mean, our hands are containing what some strips will be present or not, and when we rub our two hands, you can experience a little hot. Why? Because of friction. Due to inequalities, or in here these two inequalities, interlockings are possible. So these interlockings does not allow the other surface to slide. Okay, guys. So but our applying force is more. Due to this applying force is more, it produces some energy due to this more force, but still it is applying force or not. Here it is, still it is moving. So what happen, it will apply a lot of force on this particular position. So what will happen, the surrounding elements, so the surrounding atoms is there na? So whatever the surrounding atoms, they will absorb that heat energy. So due to this crushing, heat energy is produced. What will happen, guys? Due to this crushingness, what happen, heat energy will be produced. That heat energy absorbed by the atoms. That heat energy will be absorbed by the atoms. Now when an atom get energized, so the atomic radius increases. The atomic radius increases. Okay, so energy more, atomic radius more. Atomic radius means force of attraction less. Okay, once again, guys, whenever due to this interlockings, the I mean, as the force is more, these interlockings will apply a force on the one surface on another, due to which it produces heat energy. Due to that heat energy, the energy of an atom increases. If the energy of an atom increases, radius of the atom also increases. If radius of an atom increases, means the force present between the electron and the nucleus decreases. Okay, the force between the electron and the nucleus will decreases. So here, I mean, as the force of attraction between the electron and nucleus decreases, where this electron will be come out, I mean, it will move out from their from this outermost orbit and tries to get a place where electron affinity is more. So silk is having electron affinity. For example, consider think that this is a, here the force of it, I mean, still it can accommodate, I mean, it can able to accommodate one or two electrons. So here it is not interested and it want to lose this electron, it want to gain this electron. So these electrons transfer from here to here. Thus by losing the, here glass rod is losing the electrons and acquiring positive charge, and the silk cloth gaining the electrons and acquiring negative charge. Clear, guys? So due to the rubbing, I mean when you rub with the silk cloth on a glass rod, electrons start transferring from glass rod to silk cloth. By losing the electrons, glass rod acquires positive charge. By gaining electrons, silk cloth will acquire negative charge. Thus thus transfer of or acquiring of charge is called as charging by friction. Okay, one more simple example, guys. Here, one more simple example we are going to discuss. The similar example only. Okay, so I said now we will discuss one more example. So here, this is once again a glass rod. Here we are having wool. Okay, so when you rub glass rod with wool, when you rub a glass rod with wool, what will happen, guys? Electrons transfer from wool to glass. Electrons transfers from wool to glass. So by losing electrons, by losing electrons, it acquires positive charge. On other hand, glass rod gaining electrons gives rise to negative charge. Clear? When wool is rubbed with the glass rod, or glass rod is rubbed with wool, so wool is going to lose the electrons. Wool will lose the electrons, which gives rise to positive charge. Whereas here glass rod gains the electrons, which will give rise to negative charge. So here, if you clearly observe that the electron affinity of glass is more when compared to the wool. Electron affinity is more. Electron affinity means tendency of an atom to attract a shared pair of electrons, or outermost outermost electron present in an atom is called as electron affinity. Okay, now guys, here, I mean in the previous example, silk is having higher electron affinity, but in this case glass rod is having the higher affinity. So you can write here electron affinity of silk is more. Okay, electron affinity is more. Okay, and electron affinity of glass rod is middle. Okay, and the electronic affinity of wool is less. Okay, so electron affinity is more. We can write electron affinity is yeah, it's not okay. Okay, guys, here electron affinity of silk is what? Very high. Electron affinity of a glass rod is medium, and electron affinity of wool is less. So this is the point you should keep in the mind. Okay, so whenever a body opposes relative motion with respect to another body due to physical contact, then it will give rise to what, guys? Charging by friction. Okay, guys, hope you all understood. Okay, now we will go to the second process. Okay, so what do you mean by the word second process? Charging by conduction. So transfer of charge due to a physical contact between two bodies, then it is called as charging by conduction. When two bodies are in, okay, when a charged body is in physical contact with the uncharged body, it will give rise to the charge in another body. This type of charging is called as charging by conduction. For example, guys, this is a sphere of uncharged body. This is a sphere of uncharged body. So just before we done, we rubbed the glass rod with silk. We are having what? Glass rod rubbed with silk. Okay. Now, glass rod. When we rubbed with glass rod with the silk cloth, silk is acquiring the electrons and it is getting which charge, guys? Negative. And glass rod is positive. So here it is negative and here it is positive. Now, positive means it is having deficiency of electrons. Now, this is a positively charged glass rod, and when I touched here, when I touched in physical contact with here, some of the electrons, it contains some of the electrons. I mean, it is an uncharged now, so it is present throughout that. Some of the electrons start moving and occupies what, guys? Occupies glass rod. This transfer of electrons or this transfer of charge from one charged body to another charged body is called as charging by conduction. Okay, for example, reverse the case. Now this is a wool. This is wool means which charge will acquire, guys? Which charge will acquire? It will acquire negative charge. So wool will acquire positive. Now this is what? Negative. Whenever a negative rod is applied, so what will happen? The excess, I mean some number of electrons were transferred from the glass rod to this uncharged body. Okay, once again, I mean for your better understanding. Yeah. Okay, now this is a uncharged one. Okay, this is sphere of uncharged particle. Okay, now this is a negatively charged glass rod. Okay, now whenever this negatively charged glass rod is in contact with the uncharged particle, excess number of electrons transferred to the uncharged sphere. This transfer is also called as what? Charging by conduction. For example, think that there is no physical contact with this. There is no physical contact between these two bodies. Whenever there is no physical contact, tell me, will the charge transfer will take place? No. So the charge transfer takes place due to a physical contact between charged body and uncharged body, or oppositely charged body, is called as charging by conduction. Okay, guys, hope you understood. Coming to the next point, charging by induction. What do you mean by the word charging by induction? So without in contact. So just before we discussed what, guys? Charging by friction, I mean opposing relative motion. Next one is charging by conduction, which is in physical contact. Now charging by induction. What do you mean by the word charging by induction? In this, the bodies need not to be in physical contact. The bodies need not to be in physical contact. Now one more important point, guys, here I forgot to make. So charging will result, charging by conduction results, charging by conduction results repulsion between two bodies. Repulsion between two bodies. Why repulsion? Because both are having the both the charged body and uncharged body will have the same charge after physical contact. So the bodies which charged under the conduction will experiences repulsion. Okay, so next, charging by induction. What do you mean by the word here, charging by induction? First, so this is a glass rod. Okay, now glass rod here, for example, consider that negative charge. Okay, now here we are having an uncharged sphere. This is what, guys? Uncharged sphere. So in an uncharged sphere, the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons. But due to this negative charge, positive charge will try to acquire a place like this. I mean, it will become highly occupied and all the negative charge will come aside. Now I am connecting a ground. Okay, so like this. Now when I connected here the number of electrons are less. So the number, whatever the electrons is there, it will come down. So ultimately what you are getting, when I closes here, the total body will have positive charge. Clear, guys? So without physical contact, if a charge is acquired within a body, then it is called as charging by induction. Once again, I'm telling you guys, this is what a negatively charged glass rod, how a negatively charged glass rod will be there. When you rub a wool and wool with a glass rod, excess of electrons will transfer from wool to glass rod. By gaining the electrons, glass rod will become negatively charged, and gaining the electrons, losing the electrons, wool will become positively charged. Okay, now coming to the next point, the glass rod placed nearer to the uncharged body. Due to this unchargedness, what will happen, guys? So actually the positive charge is equal to negative charge. Due to this attractiveness, I mean positive charge is attracted to the negative charge or not. So like this, it will come near. Okay, I mean all the positive charge will come and to the settle one side. Okay, or in simply the whatever the negative charge is there, negative charge will come and occupies opposite pole. Now when I connected to the ground, the excess electrons were drawn to the ground. Whenever excess electrons were drawn to the ground and I just closed, whatever the positive charge is there, it will occupy completely. That in that way a whole positive charge will be gets created. This type of acquiring charge is called as charging by induction. So in this way, I mean how it acquires the positive charge. Similarly, negative charge is also it can acquire negative charge also. Okay, so negative charge means at that time this is all what, guys? Positive charge. This is all positive charge. This is all positive charge. So whenever it is having the positive charge, okay, so here this is an uncharged one. So what will happen? So here it will have the negative charge. Now here it is having the positive charge. Now when I connected to the ground, some electrons start moving from here because it is having which charge? Positive charge. So some electrons will start moving from the ground to here and occupies the negative charge. So here by total this uncharged body acquires negative charge. This type of acquiring charge is called as charging by induction. Okay, and charging by induction gives rise to attraction between two bodies. Okay, since opposite charges are present in between these two bodies, this glass rod and here uncharged particle, these two are what previously this is uncharged but it is having negative charge, but here it is positive charge. So right now these two will undergo attraction. Charging by conduction gives rise to repulsion. Charging by induction gives rise to attraction. So these are the important things we should consider for what, guys? Charging by conduction and induction. Okay, hope you all understood. We will just go through that. Okay, yeah, you can go through that. Methods of charging: friction. If we rub one body with another body, electrons are transferred from one body. Okay, or so we discussed in terms of electron affinity. Okay, we discussed some more point. Here you should keep one important point. What, guys? Clouds become charged by friction. So we can see the thunders in the sky or not. Those are due to the charging by friction between the clouds. Okay, yeah, this is about the complete charging by friction. And coming to next process of transfer of charge by contact of two bodies is known as conduction. Okay, so charged bodies loses we just discussed now, if a body loses electrons, it will become positively charged, and if a body gains the electrons, it is called negatively charged. Okay, so these all are about the complete conduction. Okay, next electrostatic induction or simply charging by induction, that we already discussed how it is. I mean, it is a process. Okay, so here the some more important facts associated with the induction is inducing body neither gains nor loses the charges. Inducing body neither gains nor loses the charges. Okay, so and the next, nature of the induced charge is always opposite to the, I mean, we just discussed if one is positive, one other one will be negative. If one is negative, other one will be positive. Induction takes place in only body either conducting or not conducting, and not in particles. So it will takes in only bodies, it does not takes in particles. Okay, this is a completely about in induction. Okay, some golden key points you should keep in mind with respect to the charges, guys. What it is: charge differs from mass in the following sense. SI unit of charge is derived from the physical quantity, while mass is a fundamental quantity. See, we already know that mass is a fundamental quantity. One of the seven, in one of the seven fundamental quantities, the mass is one of the fundamental quantities. But charge is a derived quantity. Okay, it is ampere into time. Next, charge is always conserved, but mass is. Okay, so charge, I mean, we discussed in a charge is neither be created nor be destroyed, but mass is not like that. Mass can be changes as energy. I mean, E is equal to mc square. We are having the relation based on this. Okay, the quanta of charge is electronic charge. I mean, that we said na 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. But the mass is not yet clear. I mean, we don't have any fixed value so far. For a moving charged body, mass increases while charge remains constant. We discussed that invariant. Is it right? Charge is invariant whatever the frame of reference. Based on that condition, we can say mass increases. I mean, kinetic energy increases. If kinetic energy increases means mass of, I mean, force is increases. So we can say a mass of a body will appears to increase based on the velocity of a body. But for a charge, whether it is moving at high speed or low speed, the value of charge will be constant. Okay, and to check whether it is positive charge or negative charge, then the repulsion is the surest test. Repulsion is the surest test. If a body is uncharged or uncharged or oppositely charged, it will undergo repulsion. Okay, if a body no charged or if a body is no charged or what we can say similarly charged, it will undergo repulsion. And if a body is uncharged or opposite charged, it will undergo attraction. So repulsion is the surest test for the checking the charge. Okay, so next, for a non relativistic, velocity is very less than compared to the charged particle. Specific charge q by m is equal to constant. Always q by m is equal to a constant. Okay, of course, these topics we will get once again in the coming classes. At that time we will discuss very clearly. Okay, so just here we will leave this. Okay, yeah, coming to next. Okay, so we will discuss two basic questions, then we will go ahead. Okay, guys, when a piece of polythene is rubbed with the wool, a charge of 2 into 10 power minus 7 is developed on polythene. What is the amount of mass and which is transferred to the polythene? Okay, guys, now here that is a basic one of a question, guys. Okay, now how to solve this question we will discuss right now. Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, so what they given, Nana? What they given, guys? Total charge q is equal to given as 2 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb. Okay, so here the charge developed in a body is given as how much? 2 into 10 power minus 7. What is the amount of transferred to the polythene? See here, when a piece of polythene is rubbed with a wool, a charge of developed on polythene. So minus 2 here, this is minus 2 into 10 power minus negative charge. So some electrons were transferred from the wool to polythene. Is it right? Negative charge indicates what? Electrons were transferred from wool to polythene. Now how much mass of the electrons were transferred, that is our question. Okay, now how to get that value? So first of all, we already know that Q is equal to N into E, or N is equal to Q by E. So what is the value they given? 2 into 10 power minus 7. Okay, so we can write this as 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So ultimately, by just solving all those, or we can write it 16 and this is 20 and okay, 1 by 8. 1 by 8 means, so overall it is 1.25 into 10 power 12. Number of electrons is equal to how much, guys? 1.25 into 10 power 12. So how many electrons were transferred means 1.25. We already know that mass of each electron is equal to 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So mass transferred, I mean amount of mass transferred is equal to N into mass of electron. That is how much, guys? 1.25 into 10 power 12 into 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. Okay, so by simplification we will get the answer as 11.38 into 10 power minus 19 kg. This is the answer we will get. Okay, upon simplification we will get the answer of this value. Okay guys, hope you understood. Okay, so this is one of a simple question. Here what is the question? I mean, so this question, I mean, Q is equal to Ne and all these are the questions related to your board level, but they are asking mass, how much mass is transferred, then this is called as a MSET or NEET or IIT based question. I mean, some more, they are connected with another more topic. Okay, for example, I mean, sir, how much mass is added, they have given. For example, why we get the point that this ethylene, this polythene is acquired mass based on its negative charge. For example, they not given it as a for example, they didn't given the negative like this. They given that charge. At that time, whether mass will be gained or loosened, it is loosened, because they need not mention it like a negative charge. If it is a negative charge, the mass will get added, but if it is a positive charge, the mass will be loosened. Okay, 11.38 into 10 power minus 19 kg will be less. Okay, now coming to, this is what the question. Okay, coming to the next question, guys, we can check. Yeah, so 10 power 12 alpha particles per second fall on a neutral sphere. Calculate time in which sphere gets a charge by 2 microcoulomb. Okay, so this is also a some different question, guys. You need to identify how much time, okay, how much time the charge will get, say, 2 microcoulombs. That is the point. Okay, now how to find out that? Okay, so guys, what they given in the question, and 10 power 12 particles. First of all, how much, guys? 10 power 12 alpha particles. Okay, now let t be the time. Let t be the time in which particles. So we can write here what is the, it's equal to simply 10 power 12 into t. 10 power 12 into, let t be the time, so it will take how much, guys? 10 power 12 into t. Okay, but alpha particle means it contains 2 electrons, So total number of particles is equal to, we can write this as 10 power 12 into T into 2. That is, we can write it as 2 into 10 power 12 T. Okay, so here this is the T is the time for what? For one single particle. So total number of particles incident in a time, incident in time is equal to how much? This is the total time. What is the total charge it acquired? 2 microcoulomb. 2 microcoulomb is equal to, we will get the here 2 into 10 power 12 into T. So T is equal to, we will get the value as 2 into 10 power minus 6. Wait. Okay, so how much we are getting, guys? 2 into 10 power minus 6 by here 2 into 10 power 12, and we are having the electron also now. So we are having 2 into 10 power 12 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So how much we are getting? This two will get cancelled. Okay, and here minus 6, and here it is okay, it will be ultimately how much, guys? It will get cancelled, and 10 power minus 1 will be there. Okay, so 10 power minus 1 means like it will be gone upside. So how much T is equal to, yeah, we are getting it as 10 by 16, or 1.6, or 100 by 16. Okay, so it is 25 by 4. So ultimately it is 6.25 seconds. So answer is how much, guys? 6.25 seconds. 6.25 seconds. So it takes 6.25 seconds in order to get the how many, guys? Yeah, how many, guys? 10 power 12 alpha particles. Okay, so this is what about today's class, guys. So we are having one more small topic, that is the Coulomb's law. That is the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between two particles is directly proportional to the product of their charges, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and acts along the line joining of 2 points. Or in very simple cases, we can say that it is similar to the gravitational force. Okay, so what is this gravitational force? The force of attraction between the two heavy bodies is directly proportional to the product of the masses, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Is it right, guys? So the same concept here, but it is with respect to the charges. Okay, so this topic also we are just discussing. Okay, so the electrostatic force of attraction between two bodies is directly proportional to the square of charges, but there it is what? Square of masses. So there in gravitational we are discussing with respect to the masses, and here in the electrostatics we will discuss it with respect to the charges. So F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R square, where K is called as a Coulomb constant, and it is value is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon, and epsilon is called as permittivity of free space. So what is this permittivity? What is the value of epsilon? What are the problems based on those? That we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Hope you all understood this class. Have a nice day. Take care. Stay home, stay safe.